Here we go. Hello, everybody, and this is Stephanie Power here, and I'm continuing with my interviews. And today I've got a very special lady with me called Marguerite Brigham. Welcome, Marguerite.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's an honor to be here.
And the reason Marguerite's here today is because, wow, she's got a big life and she's got a big story and a powerful story. And also it's a reach out because at the moment she needs a little bit of a helping hand from some people who are willing to, help someone who's changing the world. And we need people like Marguerite in the world, people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, and people who have been through some tough times and still keep going and inspirational to others, even from that place. Marguerite's one of those people, and I'm just going to have a bit of a chat with her today, and she's going to be sharing her story. And Marguerite, if you were to tell everybody who you are and what you're about, what would that be?
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, as you said, I'm here to inspire.
Yes.
I really think it's a maturity journey, but it's been my healing path, and that has been nature. Nature has really helped in my mind, body, spirit, and by going for nature walks, there are swans on my local ponds. And so I wasn't really out to inspire anybody. I was just taking pictures and videos and sharing them on social media. And so last year, I actually hit rock bottom in every area of my life. So with my health and some relationships, it's funny, you know, when you're down and people are used to someone who's strong, and then they can't rely on you anymore, and they just like, okay, see you later. So, you know, the loss, the grief on top of being ill. And then financially, and that's where you came in as well, with some sisterhood group. My bank card was stolen, and somebody went on a shopping spree. Well, I live in Ontario in Canada. And so my doctor had said, well, you can't work. So I have, it's incurable, it's Meniere's disease, and that's with a lot of vertigo. But really my story is quite like the ugly duckling. It was kind of like Pandora's box opened up for me, because I'm moving in June. This will be my 11th time. So just like in Hans Andersen Christensen's story
Hans Christian Andersen. No, I can't even say it. Oh, Hans Christian Andersen. That's it. I remember it through a song.
Yeah. Well, that little ugly duckling was bounced around until he was almost dead. Like, it's literally, right? I was. I was so depleted. And so because I was taking the pictures, the people who said, like you and a few others, said, well, why don't you create a calendar as a fundraiser? So in lickety-split, we created a calendar. But what was really amazing is, so for my last place that I moved from, which was really abusive, and I had no possessions, my girlfriend took me in to this little town. It's called Erin, which I say is Little Ireland, because it does, you know, it is. It's got the clovers everywhere.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a client of Women of Crisis, right? So, and I didn't have a car or anything. Well, there's volunteer drivers because there's no buses, there's no taxis, no Ubers. And one of the volunteer drivers who was bringing me to my doctor, and I didn't know at the time, but their name is Mr. and Mrs. Soul, S-O-U, no, S-O-U-L, yeah, Soul. And they told me that the swans from our pond came from their swans. So all the way to the doctor's, which was a half-hour drive, and then they brought me to their place after. So this was actually one of their swans. I got to hear the story of these beautiful trumpeter swans who were native to Ontario and went extinct for 200 years. And it was one man
That
who
long?
brought, yep.
That's a long time. Wow.
Yeah, since the 1880s because of loss of habitat and people were hunting them for all kinds of things, their feathers, right? And anyway, so one man, a retired biologist, brought them back. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Soul saw an article about this and decided to help with the repopulation. So for 25 years, they had swans in their backyard. And of course, they had to get a license, right? So all the swans in this area come from their efforts. And recently, I mean, I'm so honored. I guess because, you know, even though I couldn't work last year and I was on this healing journey, I love the swans. Like, they literally saved my life. So I had the passion and the drive, right? And you lovelies behind me to put into motion. So with the calendars, $5 went to the Trumpeter Swan Coalition because their winter home was being threatened by a marina. So 200 swans go down to where it's Lake Ontario, right? And it's like, come on, these birds are just on a fragile comeback. I didn't know how fragile. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Soul have just moved. They basically retired and entrusted me with 40 pages of their work. I don't know if you can see this. So Mr. Soul, this is what he put on the beginning of it. So this is history.
We couldn't see the top, the heading. We could see the rest of it.
Yeah. So swans, trumpeters, elegant, graceful, black-billed, long-necked, Sasquatch-footed, trusting, intuitive friends.
And you're going to be turning this into you are turning this into an ebook, and it might be actually finished or completed in 2 days.
Well, May.
Right?
We'll say May. May. This month.
Okay.
May 2019.
Fantastic.
Yes. So because it's history. It's history, and I mean, I didn't realize what a fragile comeback it is until I read this. And you know what's so amazing, Stephanie, is that when I was at their home and I told them I was already writing the book, right? Because, you know, last year it started to get written, right?
Yes.
The miracle healing swan story. Well, he said he had a few, you know, pieces that he wanted to give me. Well, I'm thinking that they're just, you know, some maybe poems or just some writings. And so Mrs. Soul, Norma, told me that it was all handwritten because he doesn't use a computer. She's the computer person, right? So she said, she said, well, he's like handwriting them for you. Well, you know what he ended up doing? I want to cry. He learned a new skill. He typed this out for me.
Wow.
And what was amazing was
that is magic.
It is. And I gave them a calendar. So I got to see them almost a month ago now in April because they've moved now in May. So, you know, they look at the legacy we've left. They don't have the swans anymore, but they have a calendar that we helped put together. And it was so fun because I was asking people on Facebook, you know, which picture do you like? Which quote do you like? And at the time, right, when I found out that their name was Mr. and Mrs. Soul, that wasn't until November 11th, right? Because I just knew them as Jim and Norma. And I was trying to get an article in the paper. Well, when they told me their name is Soul, and this was a quote. Tell me if you can see it.
Just pull it out a bit. Yep. That's it, yes. Among Druids, the swan represents the soul and is associated with the festival of Samhain. The swan aids us in travelling to the other world. So, yes, the word soul is in there. That's
I couldn't believe it.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
So, you're the first to know this. You and your audience are the first to know this. Okay. So when I went to see them, we had a date set for about 3 weeks because I, of course, wanted to say goodbye, give them the calendar. And I was getting, again, these writings. Well, Mrs. Soul had called me and said, we have to postpone it for a few days because Jim had a heart attack.
Wow.
Now, he survived, right? But reading this, I mean, you know, like I have to move in June. I've been here for 2 and almost a half years. So my girlfriend's moving and, you know, our time is, you know, time to part.
So,
yeah. I'm sad. I'm very, you know, very sad to leave the Swans, but it's nothing compared to what they would be feeling, right?
But can you tell us a little bit also about you having to move, Marguerite? Because that's really crucial for you at the moment.
Yes.
And that's inspired us to have this interview today as well, because June's not very far away.
Yeah, 23 days.
Exactly. And, you know, we're supposed to be in a world now, well, you know, in places like Canada and Australia where I am, we're supposed to be in a place where, you know, people do get looked after. And especially like people like someone you've been working your whole life and now you've gotten this illness. And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Marguerite? Is that
bless my heart, bless my soul. I didn't think I'd make it to 57 years old.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And, you know, but that's, there's strength in that. You know, you've been around a long time and you've done a lot and you've been a taxpayer and contributed. And to think that now you can't even, like, you don't have enough money, the money they give you to have a roof over your head. I mean, you're thinking if you don't get a safe place to stay, you may have to go into a shelter. It's that dire, isn't it?
It is. And what was interesting is I had a meeting yesterday with a support worker, and then there's a new girl working for her who has worked in shelters, and she said, I'm going to do everything in my power because you're not going into a shelter. She said, a lot of you, like, you need safety, right? Like I have been in abuse situations, and that's where I've been healing is, you know, if does a fish know its water, is what my counselor says. If you don't know you're abused your whole life, how do you know? So I'm learning healthy relationships. And she said that there's a lot of criminals, a lot of manipulating people in there, and you will be triggered over and over and over and over. You are not going into a shelter. So the story, so what happens? So so I'm
support by the sounds, which is really helpful.
Yeah. So to go on disability, so it's really a bridge that I need. Like, this is like the worst timing, right? With my girlfriend having to put her place up for sale. Because
can I fill in the people that where you're living now? At the moment, Marguerite's living in a room in a house with a
trailer.
A trailer? Is it a trailer? Okay.
Tiny.
Okay. I didn't know that. So that's what I think we really need to know what the story is here, you know,
Yeah.
so they can get the picture of what's really happening for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, what is happening with that now?
Yeah. So for me,
That's
and
been
this
a
is,
safe place, hasn't it?
it has, it's the safest one where I finally am free to look at my trauma,
Beautiful.
right?
Yes.
And to start to thrive a little,
Yes.
right? So my doctor's like, you can't work right now. And I was a yoga teacher, and as I was saying that right before, oh no, I was saying that before
So
we got on.
working's not an option here.
Yeah.
You need to heal and you need a safe space. That's what you're asking for now. Another
Yeah.
safe space.
So my doctor helped me fill out the disability. So that was last August. I got denied in November. So like this is stressful too, right? All this paperwork and all this like having to.
Oh, who likes paperwork? Not me. Totally not me.
So it was denied, and I have legal aid, and so my court date is this August.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, and again, I don't know if I'll get it or not. But anyways, to get disability, you have to go on what's called Ontario Works, which is social assistance. So and these are all going to start getting cut. And it's crazy because there's such a housing crisis here. So I'm allotted $340 for your living, like for your rent. And then you get another $320 for groceries, phone, like whatever, right? So
per week or per month?
I don't even get $700 a month.
So that's per month?
Per month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I pay $500 here, and I could get a place for $500. They will allow me that. If there's something for like $600, they'd say, no, you can't live, so you can't get that place. So you're so restricted.
Yes.
So I want freedom from it all as well, eventually, right? So the real gap is either trying to find somewhere for the summer if disability comes in, it'll be like $1,100. But realistically, a one bedroom is like $1,500 to $2,000 a month. A bachelor is like $900. And what are you getting, right? So yeah, I'm on the list for housing, but rent to gear income, but that's like 5-year waiting list. So I've lived with people for a long time, and I guess I'm really good at it now. It's like the Golden Girls situation. It's like you have to live with people nowadays. Unless we start getting these tiny houses. I mean, I can live in a tiny house, no problem. I
like the tiny houses too. They're pretty cool.
Yeah,
it is a solution.
I long for solitude, right? Like I had my daughter at 16. I've always had a dependent or live with, like I've never, like just think a writer, like think cabin in the woods. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to be with a man. I don't want to be with a woman. I don't want to be kids. I don't want to be with dogs. Is my personal preference, but I'm letting the universe land me softly like it did here.
Okay, so Marguerite really would like a bit of financial assistance at this time. And
oh yeah, because even on the page, I have the Patreon as well, right? So
if people want to help you, Marguerite, with getting a new home, a safe home, in less than a month, that's
possession.
We're looking for a miracle here.
Right? I don't have a bed. I have no furniture, right? Like I had to flee. So I have clothes and a few things, but that's what I was going to say. Like even if it's $1, so I can go to the dollar store and get spatulas, and you know what I mean? Like, everything helps.
Well, I like what's happened is Marguerite set up a GoFundMe page, which is where she does tell her story a little bit. and so you'll get some more information about the Swans and about Marguerite.
Yeah.
And basically, there was a little article that Marguerite put up on her, I think, in her group called Awaken Magic, and it was called something about $10. If everyone just gave $10.
Oh, that was an article in the local newspaper.
Yeah, and I mean, $10
Yeah.
is like, a cup of coffee, a piece of cake. If we could get enough people to do that, then Marguerite might have a little bit of, a chance to have more options about where she goes, or at least a bit of a stopgap, a safe gap between, for her to make a decision maybe a bit later, just somewhere she could go interim that was temporary, but safer, and not like the shelter where, it's, as they say, for her emotional and physical health, not going to be where she needs to be to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I really want to get the ebook out now while I'm still in a safe place, right? Because who knows where I'll be on the other side.
And she's still, she is in this situation, and she's still doing things to help the beautiful swans, so this is the kind of person Marguerite is. And I mean, I guess that's also going to be another way you could help Marguerite too, is by buying the ebook as well when that comes out.
Yeah.
If you, wanting to help the swans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the calendars are still available. I mean, you got a calendar all the way shipped to Australia.
I know. And it didn't take too long, really, to come here, actually.
Yeah, because the calendar is it's more of a totem. The swans are a totem. I say they're the totem of 5D, right? We're all becoming the swans. I love this one too. Behold the swan, a bird that transforms from an ugly duckling to beauty and grace and adulthood.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it really has been like that, the misfit of standing before I even got ill, right? Standing up for my beliefs and my path, which it's been really long and winding road. And my inner convictions. Yeah. So this is the quote I put today, because I was saying love was flying through my fingertips when I wrote my my newsletter, and we can let people know they can just come on to the awakenmagic.com as well to get email blasts. But
that's a group that Marguerite's formed. Actually, that's where I first got to know Marguerite. About a year ago. No, year and a half now.
Yeah. If we only understood who we are and what was in store for us, it would enlighten even the darkest souls. Of course, there will always be voices telling you that you are foolish to believe you are swans, insisting you are but ugly ducklings. But you know better. You are no ordinary beings. And that's by Dieter Torf or something like that.
Beautiful. And it's the truth, it's the truth for all of us. It's there's something amazing and unique about all of us. There's a reason we're here on this planet at this time. And
most definitely.
And
when people say to follow your heart, that's an easy thing to say, but it's hard because you're getting the voices saying, go get a job, go get a job. That's just,
if you're not in that position.
My family, and I'm like going, okay, doctor's saying I can't, I'm sick. And people being in denial about it. And it's like, I put a post up the other day, which was, you know, chronic illness. When you have chronic illness and people think you're faking being sick, it's like, no, you're faking being well.
And this is a big issue in the world. There's a lot of people stuck at home, and they're lucky that they can, you know, have a home, that they have like diseases like yours, which I can't remember the name of. A lot of these things that people have, yes, they've got big names. I mean, there's also ME, you know, people that are stuck at home and they can't even dress themselves or shower. And they've got...
That was me, December, January, you know.
I know.
I had the bright light of the swans. I knew the future was coming.
Yeah. And Marguerite has been inspiring what I've been inspired by about you, Marguerite, this year, when you have been down and when you have been in that place that some people would find uncomfortable to see on video, that you've been brave because it's your truth, and truth is valid, and we need to get more real and to not sweep everything under the carpet. And, you know, these people at home with these illnesses that are invisible, that can't be seen, it's time that we saw them. It's actually happening, and we aren't taking care of everybody on this planet that we could be. We do have the money. We can. The majority of people can afford $10.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can't, well, that's okay. Marguerite's not asking that. Marguerite's just asking that, yeah, if you can afford $10, you would give Marguerite a chance to be safe and to have a roof over her head, and also to continue helping the beautiful swans make their beautiful comeback that they have been over there in Canada. So
yeah, definitely, it's standing for me is standing for the swans, protecting them.
And if you can stand for yourself.
And I'll just say quickly that also on my YouTube channel, I've been giving the Reiki. So I was, you know, putting my own oxygen mask on, the first time being selfish. Because when you give Reiki, you're giving it to yourself first, and then it goes out, right? And yeah, my ugly story is on there too. I have 31. I've stopped right now until after I move, but there are 31 videos over there.
So yeah, there's lots of other gifts that Marguerite's got too. Marguerite's got a site called Patreon, where that's
the homepage of the Swans. Tons of content. I call it soul food, because if they can heal me from deep soul wounds, they can heal others too.
But right now, she needs some help, and she's also being a voice by coming out here and being brave and speaking to anybody in the world who knows who's going to come on and see this video. She's, as Marguerite's been saying herself lately, becoming a voice for the voiceless, those people that feel they can't speak up because people would say, you know, well, not be comfortable with their situation. And yeah, it needs to be seen. We need to see the uncomfortable to really see what is happening on this planet, and to stand together and to connect up through love. This world needs to be seen, all of it.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Is there any last words of wisdom, Marguerite, you'd like to give us here today? Is there something from the depth of what you've been through?
Well, it is a transformational process, and for me, when all those people turned away, I just had to keep turning back to loving myself, because, you know, the messages I got was I was ugly, right? I had to break the lies. I saw the lies, and turning towards spirit. And no one really actually could have helped me when I was in that deep place. And I couldn't really even reach out. But knowing that I did have some people have my backs still. And it helped burn away my ego. So I can just be humble and let go. And then the magic happens, right?
Like this.
Yeah.
This is magic, being able to communicate in this way.
And look at how many people can help.
Exactly.
Look at the opportunity.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Marguerite, for
Welcome. Thank you.
today coming and sharing your message. And thank you, everyone who's listening to this story, be it, whenever you get a chance to have a look at this video. I'm going to be putting a link to Marguerite's Funly page with this video, and also maybe to the Patreon. Is that possible that I can?
Yes, definitely. Because again, it's the community, right?
Sure. Okay, and possibly mention the Awakening Magic group too. Is that what you'd like me to do? Yeah. Okay. Cool. And if you have a spare $10, please, reach out and help someone.
$5, $1, anything. Seriously.
Yeah. You can do some magic in someone's life, and it will make a difference for the better, because Marguerite's got a lot of good work left to do for this planet.
Yeah, big project. And if anyone wants to jump on board and help us, because it's, it's too big for me and just, there's 7 of us. So even just being virtual volunteers and sharing, even if they just go to the Patreon page and share, or the Fundly page and share if they can't donate, that would be a huge help.
Thank you so much, Marguerite. All the best.
Thank you. Love you.
Love. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.